1,000 subscribers. This is the huge milestone that I got past yesterday, not long after uploading part 9 of Mario 3. And I would like to thank everyone who made this possible. I honestly never thought in a million years that not only would I still be doing this after 15 months, but that I would eventually reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, we're almost there. Only 65,000 more to go, and I'm going to make Chugga. No, of course it's not gonna happen. And as I've said several times before, I don't wish for it to happen. But 1,000 subscribers. Wow, I would like to thank every last one of you who subscribed, and even those of you who are watching but didn't subscribe, because you are just as important. But that's enough self-flattering for now. Let's move on to something else. And if you check my activity feed today, then you'll notice that I put up a link to a video of someone successfully modding Ken's Labyrinth to model the first level after, well, the first level of the original Legend of Zelda. And that's not all there is to it, because that person also did levels 2 and 3 as well. So I'm going to put up a link to all 3 in the movie description so you can watch it whenever you feel like it. Of course, I am mostly mentioning this because Ken's Labyrinth is a game that I LP'd, and I think I'm actually the only guy on YouTube to have LP'd Ken's Labyrinth, in fact. Anyway, less than 24 hours before the Pokémon Marathon, and as you can imagine, I am psyched. I got some bad news today, though, because I expected that at my work we would close for 2 weeks for the holidays, but it turns out we're not closed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And while that's not exactly totally bad news, because that means I get a bigger pay, but still, that means I'm not going to be able to watch much on Monday until I get back of work, that is, because I suppose I could watch it while at work, but that would be very ineffective and grounds for getting me fired, no doubt. So I'm not into that kind of crap. Anyway, when I'm at work, it's to work. But where it really hurts is the fact that, well, Britt has said multiple times that he was hoping that they would be done catching all the Pokemon with a few hours left. So, okay, we got another phone call here. Oh, you snagged an item. Too bad the items he gives me are only Pokeballs with the occasional Great or Ultra, but nothing that I could use at this point in the game. And anyway, what I was saying is that, well, the problem is that if they do, in fact, catch them all with a few hours left, with a few hours left, that's gonna leave me, well, they're gonna have done it while at work. So I am not even going to be able to see the huge moment where they would catch them all. So of course I'm hoping that they succeed, but I'm also hoping that they do so as close as possible to the end so that I can at least see it. Because I'm still so pissed that I missed the entirety of Final Fantasy VI back in July. And yes, I know it's been 5 months and I just won't let it go, but it really makes me that angry. I didn't even get to see 1 second of that game since I was asleep the whole time. So this time, I would love it if I could be there when they evolve the final Pokemon. And let's not kid ourselves, they're not going to be catching anything last. It's going to be evolving, and there's gonna be a lot of it that's gonna happen, especially for the 600 Pokemon, you know, like Tyranitar and Garchomp and stuff like that, because they're not playing Colosseum and XD this year, so that means they're actually gonna have to evolve a Dratini, a Larvitar, a Bagon, and also Beldum, all the way to 45, 50, 55, whatever it is. And they're also, since they're not playing Platinum, they won't be able to catch like a level 49 Gabite in Victory Road. They're gonna have to make do with like a level 15 Gibble, so that's something else too. It was widely expected that they would play Platinum this year, but with the release of Hard Gold and Soul Silver, well, it changed things a little, or rather a lot. So, yeah, I'm expecting the marathon to end on an evolution, unless they do the same thing as last year and keep Pokemon Ranch for last, you know, for getting Mew and all. They would catch like 500 Bidoofs and 500 Starlies and everything, and that was honestly one of the best bits of the marathon last year, you know, watching all those Bidoofs riding on top of one another, and that was just so awesome. I hope I can see some of that again this year, because I just love that. But nonetheless, this doesn't change the fact that this marathon is going to be a huge grind fest. Remember how bad we had it with Mother and Final Fantasy II? Well, it's gonna be nothing like that. Those two games were like child's play compared to what's awaiting the players that are going to be brave enough to undertake, you know, catching them all. And I am so thankful that they're not actually going to show all 8 games at the same time. Last year they showed 2 at once with several others playing off camera. Well, it depends on the time of day, of course, because at times like late in the night, early in the morning, you get only 1 or 2 games running at once. But later in the day, it can get like 6 or 7 games playing at once, but they're still only showing 2. So thankfully, we're not going to be seeing every single Bidoof that's going to be used to level up that goddamn Larvitar. And as for the whole charity aspect of the marathon, well, the goal is actually going to be $15,000. Brit originally intended for the goal to be 10 or 12,000, but the members of the forums, well, they talked him into raising it a bit, since it seems that they always reach their goals, no matter how high they are. So, hey, why not? Shoot for the stars. $15,000 in 3 days. That would be awesome. Not quite as big as in the Final Fantasy Marathon, but it would still be pretty close. $5,000 per day. And speaking of $5,000, they said that once they reach $5,000, they'd show a trailer showing all the marathons that they're gonna do in the next year. And I don't know whether to be happy that we're going to know everything about the next year, or sad that there's not gonna be any suspense at all. Remember the mystery marathon that was taking place in August? All the speculation that went on for months, and it turned out to be Mega Man? That was fun, and I would have loved to see something like that again. And I'm going to make a bold prediction and predict that the Halloween Marathon next year is going to be Castlevania, because, well, Resident Evil has already been done this year, and the next best choice would obviously be Castlevania because of how popular it is. I'm sure there are other possibilities like Silent Hill, but I don't think any of those series are as popular as Castlevania. And yes, this is finally the Super Rod. Yeah, I was wondering so many times when I would get it, and it turned out to be right here, the same spot as in the first generation. And it's so incredibly late, I can't believe it. But everything you fish with that rod is level 40, so that's actually sort of worth it. And as for me, well, there are going to be no new videos during the marathon, of course, so see you next week.